I am become meme. Manage yourself.
Psychology and computer science.
I'm trying to make it nice and this will require a lot of time and effort.
Like more politicians are billionaires, and they're like billionaires won by a lot.
Why billionaires keep getting richer? Picture this. While you were sleeping last night, Jeff Bezos made more money than most people earn in their entire lifetime. And he didn't even have to get out of bed. Sounds insane, right? But here's the kicker. This isn't some conspiracy theory or Hollywood movie plot. This is just Tuesday for the world's billionaires. Today, we're diving deep into the machine that keeps making the rich richer, while everyone else, well, let's just say they're not. Buckle up, because what you're about to discover might change how you see money forever. The numbers game. Let's start with some numbers that'll blow your mind. In 2020, during a global pandemic when millions lost their jobs, billionaires added $3.9 trillion to their wealth. That's trillion with a T. To put that in perspective, that's more than the entire GDP of
Russia.
But here's where it gets really wild. The top 1% now controls more wealth than the entire middle class combined. Think about that for a second. 1% of people have more money than 50% of the population put together, and it's not slowing down. Since 1980, billionaire wealth has grown by 1,130%. Meanwhile, the average worker's salary? It went up by just 15%. So what's happening here? Are billionaires just really, really good at their jobs? Or is there something else going on? Well, grab a coffee, because we're about to pull back the curtain on the greatest wealth accumulation machine in human history. The compound effect. Here's the first secret weapon in every billionaire's arsenal. Compound interest on steroids. You've probably heard about compound interest. Money making money, right? But billionaires don't just use compound interest. They use compound everything. Let me tell you a story about Warren Buffett. When he was 11 years old, he bought his first stock for $38. Today, he's worth over $100 billion. But here's the crazy part. 96% of his wealth was made after he turned 60. That's not luck. That's the compound effect in action. See, when you have $1 million, making 10% return gives you $100,000. Nice, right? But when you have $1 billion, that same 10% gives you $100 million. Same percentage, but now we're talking about generational wealth. But wait, it gets better. Billionaires don't just compound money. They compound influence, connections, and opportunities. Every investment opens 3 more doors. Every business contact leads to 5 more deals. It's like a snowball rolling down a hill, except the hill never ends. And here's the kicker. The bigger you get, the less risk you actually face. Because when you're too big to fail, the system itself protects you. The system advantage. But tax tricks are just the tip of the iceberg. The real secret is that billionaires play by a completely different set of rules. Let me paint you a picture. When you want to buy a house, you go to a bank, fill out paperwork, prove your income. And maybe, if you're lucky, you get a mortgage at 6% interest. When a billionaire wants to buy a company, they call their Goldman Sachs guy, who structures a deal with leveraged buyouts, tax inversions, and debt financing that would make your head spin. And somehow, they end up paying less in interest than you do on your credit card. Here's a real example. In 2013, Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway teamed up with 3G Capital to buy Heinz in a deal valued at about $23 billion in cash, around $28 billion including debt. Buffett's company actually put up around $12 billion, while 3G put in about $4 billion. The rest of the purchase was financed with borrowed money. And yes, the interest on that debt was tax deductible. So not only did they buy a massive company with a mix of their own cash and a large amount of other people's money, but the standard tax code allowed them to deduct the interest costs, which made the deal even more attractive. So not only did he buy a massive company with mostly other people's money, but the government essentially subsidized the purchase through tax breaks. But it gets even better. When regular people lose money, they're out of luck. When billionaires lose money, it's a tax write-off. Trump famously paid 0 federal income tax for years because of business losses he claimed. The system isn't just tilted in their favor, it's designed for them. The network effect. Now here's something most people don't realize. Billionaires don't compete with each other. They collaborate. Think about it. Bezos sits on multiple boards with other billionaires. Musk co-founded companies with Peter Thiel. Gates and Buffett are best friends who vacation together. This isn't coincidence. It's strategy. When you're worth billions, information becomes more valuable than money. And billionaires trade information like baseball cards. Here's how it works. Let's say you're at a dinner party with 5 other billionaires. Someone mentions they're about to invest in a new AI startup. Another person says their tech company needs exactly that kind of AI. A third person has a venture capital firm that specializes in AI investments. By dessert, you've got a deal worth hundreds of millions cooking, with each person taking a piece of the pie. This is called the network effect, and it's impossible to replicate unless you're already in the club. But here's the really crazy part. These networks don't just share business opportunities. They share political influence, media connections, and even charitable foundations that somehow always seem to benefit their business interests. It's like a secret society, except it's hiding in plain sight. The inflation hedge. Here's something that might shock you. Inflation actually makes billionaires richer. I know. You're thinking, but inflation hurts everyone, right? Wrong. See, inflation hurts people who hold cash and have fixed incomes, like wages. But billionaires don't hold much cash, and they definitely don't depend on wages. Instead, they own assets, stocks, real estate, commodities, businesses. And guess what happens to asset prices during inflation? They go up. So while your grocery bill doubles and your rent skyrockets, billionaires are watching their portfolios explode in value. But here's the really twisted part. The same policies that cause inflation, like printing trillions of dollars and keeping interest rates low, are often justified as helping regular people. But who actually benefits? The people who own assets. The billionaires. It's like a magic trick where the audience thinks they're getting helped, but really, they're the ones being robbed. And the best part? When inflation gets bad enough, billionaires can swoop in and buy distressed assets from struggling businesses and homeowners at discount prices. They literally profit from other people's pain. So there you have it. The billionaire playbook in all its glory. They use compound growth on steroids, pay almost no taxes through legal loopholes, play by different rules that favor massive wealth, leverage exclusive networks for insider opportunities, and profit from economic chaos that hurts everyone else. It's not that they're evil masterminds, though some might be. It's that they've figured out how to game a system that most people don't even know exists. The crazy part? Most of these strategies are perfectly legal. They're built into our economic system by design. So the next time someone tells you that billionaires deserve their wealth because they work harder or are smarter, you can tell them the real truth. They're playing a completely different game with completely different rules. The question is, now that you know how the game works, what are you going to do about it? If this opened your eyes, smash that like button and subscribe for more videos that reveal how money really works in this world. And drop a comment below. Which of these billionaire strategies shocked you the most? Until next time, keep your eyes open and your wallet protected.